we don't talk about albinism. With my organization, what we've believed in is we can't leave the parents behind. We can't leave the families behind. Why? Because in the families, this is where the discrimination is mostly coming from.
Deep in the heart of Africa are stories left untold, successes drowned by the world's cold, winners not seen by the naked eye, that have flown the flag of brilliance way up high. We're here to share these stories, changing one life at a time. Journey with us as we tell the untold stories of Africa.
We are joined by an incredible, excited bunch of eyes that are so curious as to what we're doing today in Ngombe in Lusaka, Zambia. My name is Zambangalala, back with episode 5 of the Untold Stories of Africa. Here in Ngombe, we get to speak to Memory Tapela Banda, who started and founded an organization that is assisting and basically just bettering the lives of albinos and individuals living with vitiligo. And I'm super duper excited to introduce her to you, to introduce the organization, and hope that you get to learn at least one thing from this whole experience. We as Untold Stories of Africa are super excited to be bringing you these stories that are changing one life at a time. We'll be right back for more.
And we got 6. Never remember was Zamu iletwa furisha sana, iletwa furisha lotion na sopo nefya kuskuli fai kwa kuskuli. Efya kuskuli iletwa furisha kutu amaglasses na ma uniform na bag ya kuskuli iletwa furisha 15
I did say that I was in Ngombe hanging out with Memory Tapela Banda. I keep saying her full name so that you can easily find her. Even if you want to look for her, you can find her. And she's an incredible individual, an incredible young woman, an incredible African that has taken the stand to make a difference in her community and beyond. Thank you so much, Memory, for being here. And we have Louis, who's also hanging out with us. Thanks for coming. And I think the very first question that I want to ask you, because this is something that, you know, is mind-blowing. It's not something that people just wake up and decide they want to do. So the very first question that I just want to ask is, how and why albinism and vitiligo?
Alright, so I get that question most of the time.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I even ask myself why, but hey, I have the answers. So growing up, we used to have twins with albinism behind our house.
Okay.
And these children were always the two of them. Nobody would play with them in the community. So it happened that me and my sister would always be around them. And we reached a point where women or mothers would stop or beat their children for playing with them. Or if they see us with them, they would say, why am so not Joanna? Yes. So you'd see that mentality and those beliefs that people had. So we didn't stop from there. Mothers would come and tell my mother, why are you letting your children play with these children?
Yeah.
And she didn't see anything wrong. I think it also started from there. If my mother had seen something wrong with us playing with them, I'm sure she would have stopped us from there and would have believed that. But she didn't, and that also helped us to keep on playing with them. We'd go to school with them. We used to be in the same class reception. So from there, I noticed that there was nothing wrong with these people. It was just the color, and hey, they're humans just like me. And I think they were special in some way, because you can't find a person with albinism just anyhow. It's really hard. And what made it really more unique is that they were twins. So it was like a double thing. So we were just always around them, would play with them. Then back to school, I was at Roma Girls. So we had a girl with albinism, and in the history of Roma Girls, she was the only girl with albinism, only pupil. And from there, I could see she was coming from a well-to-do family. I mean, she didn't lack anything. Her skin was really good. And you could see how people would be around her, because she was coming from a well-to-do family.
Yes, so the
time,
attitude is different.
Juice, free times and all.
Yes.
But sometimes you'd notice that she's in this corner, in this place where, of course, there's this belief where if I'm seen with them, people would think obvious of me. But she didn't really care because she was just in her own world. But she could see that there was a gap in between, and I didn't like it because all I believe in is we are all the same. Color difference. Even as black people, we have the same complexions, but we have different shades. So I think we should accept people for who they are, and that's where the inspiration came from.
Yes. And when was the organization founded? And how did you get to a point where you told yourself, look, I have this understanding, I have this exposure, and I believe that I can make a difference. So once you get to that point, that's now where you finally get to acting and actually going out and doing, there's a lot of talk these days. A lot of people say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. But to get to a point where you say, okay, this is exactly what I want to do and this is what I want to pursue. When was that? And tell us about the foundation, the organization. I don't know why I keep saying foundation. It's an organization.
All right. So I started the organization in 2017. So if I was to say I founded it, I would say 2016 because the idea came in as early as 2015, but I kept on doubting myself, saying, hey, I'm in school, I'm in grade 10, what am I going to do? Studies and all. And people would tell me, organization. Not I had this dream. I knew where I was going. I knew I wanted to run an organization that's going to create and talk about humanity. But I was thinking, when can I start this? Because I have school and it was really depressing and stressing. So came 2017. I was now in grade 12, and I said, hey, of course I'm writing my grade 12. But I think afterwards, what am I going to be doing? There's this year that people say you start looking for jobs and that, and I said no. Now this needs to be birthed. Now I need to start putting in more action. It's no more about awareness through the mouth. Let me now take action. And people would tell me, you can't run an organization without money.
Yes, that's always the biggest thing.
That's total and totally a lie. I always tell people, you know what, do you know what can run through an organization, or do you know what helps you to run an organization? It's only through passion. If you don't have the passion, you run out of ideas, you run out of what should I do next. So all I believed in was, I can do this.
I can do it.
I mean, it's not all about the money. I can start the awareness. You can do it. You can start the awareness, then start up something. I don't have an office, but hey, when people want to meet me, I'll just tell them, maybe you can meet me home. I mean, I'm proud of where I come from. So I said, all right, I need to start this. So little by little, I started looking for registration, like money registration, because I wanted it to be formally. I mean, some things you can't do them at a certain extent in Zambia because you need it to be registered.
Proper documentation.
So 2017, we started it, and I said, I don't have an office, but we'll still keep running it. We can give them a few things. We can't just be talking about albinism, but what are we doing to help them with? Exactly. So we started going in schools, speaking about albinism, not really schools that have children with albinism, but even schools where there's 0% with albinism, we go there. Just for about awareness. People need to know about it. So 2018, we got it registered, and it's now formally registered.
And it's formally registered. Congratulations. So it's registered under the name
Zambian Albinism Matters Organization.
Zambian Albinism Matters Organization. Look that up. Look up Memory Tapela Banda. Find out what exactly she's doing and how she's doing what she's doing. And I mean, it's one thing to, like you said just now, especially as a young person, you think, I don't have the resources, I don't have this, I don't have that, how can I, you know what I mean? You always just in this space where you're thinking, oh, but I need this, and I don't have this, and I don't have this. Tell me a little bit about how the organization has been sustained thus far, and what exactly you are providing, and what exactly you are doing in terms of actual activism, and just getting out there and impacting the community, and apart from just being able to identify as someone that is pushing the awareness and the cause, what else do you believe you would like your name and also your organization to be remembered for?
All right, so to start with, we don't talk about albinism. With my organization, what we've believed in is we can't leave the parents behind. We can't leave the families behind. Why? Because in the families, this is where the discrimination is mostly
from.
coming from. Let's not even go to society or community. It's starting from the families. Mothers are being discriminated. And so we've introduced programs and projects that are involving both sides, the children and the mothers. So we have a program running currently. We give out loans to the mothers, because there's some mothers who have not been to school and they would want to do businesses. Then there's some mothers who said, I want to go to school, and here we introduced the adult education for them, the night schools. So they go to night school, someone grade 2, someone grade 1, which is really amazing, because we see them getting empowered. Then those who are being given loans, they are involving themselves in businesses, different kinds of businesses. So after each month we go through and check on them, what they're doing with the money. So going back to the children, we have different programs. We have the library, which is the new program there. So this is the reading clinic, where we want children with albinism, because we know in schools children with albinism are not really seen as different as the others, but what really makes them different is the visual impairment aspect. Exactly. So these people have low sight, and we need to understand, even as a teacher, you need to know, even though this child sits in front, the child can't see. So we provide spectacles for them, because of the low vision. We provide spectacles for them, not that they're now able to see clearly, but they can able to read. It's better. Then apart from that, we go in schools to sensitize to teachers, to headmasters, and to the pupils, so that these children are accepted, and we're making sure they're learning in environments where they're safe, and zero anti-bullying. So we're making sure also in communities, we go in clinics. So this project is called Check on Him in the Heart campaign. We go in communities, families. So we talk to the families where there are children with albinism or mothers with children with albinism. We just want to see how they're living. And sometimes they don't know what's coming. So we just go there, and you could see how they're living. You know, somebody can't lie about how they're living if you visit them. It's so noticeable. So we go there and see how they're living. We talk to the fathers. And the truth is that most of these women are single mothers. Why? Because men don't understand how albinism comes about. The
baby
and just
is born
say,
and
they just don't understand it's all about the genes. So we go in families and talk to the families. How are you living? Are you sure the child is safe? Are you accepted as a mother with a child with albinism? Then apart from that, we have the clinics reach out, where we go to the clinics, antenatal care, where we know we can find such women. So we go there, we target the audience. Our main target is the expecting mothers and women. So we talk to them about albinism. What we understand from it is that in as much as you can go for scanning, you never know what child you have, unless you're married to a white man or a colored man. You know, it's going to be a mixed race thing. So we go in clinics and talk to the mothers just to create more awareness. And we know there they come with their husbands and boyfriends.
How's that received sometimes?
So it's really welcoming, because we first talk to the doctors and the nurses. So they introduce us before we talk to them. Obviously, it would be really awkward if we just went there. So nurses would talk to them and say, this is an organization doing this, and they want to talk to you. So we go there and talk to them about albinism. And trust me, there's so much contributions when you're talking to them. Because they're shocked. Even men are shocked.
I didn't know.
Exactly. So we've targeted them, because we know now they come with their husbands when they're there, and they both can understand. So if the possibility or the probability is that you're going to have a child with albinism, at least they're going to remember knowledge. We were once taught. So that's our target. So apart from that, that's what we do.
Tell me about the soap and the lotions as well. You know, I had a very interesting conversation with someone not too long ago, and we were talking about how generally as Black people, we don't know much about things like sunscreen. We don't use those things. So anyway, the conversation came up because I was talking about how I use sunscreen. Generally, I've been using sunscreen for years, and I shared this, and they're like, why would you, So generally, there's already a perception that as Black people, we don't need sunscreen. We don't need certain lotions that protect us from the sun because we're Black. Do you get what I mean? And because of that perception, because of that idea, I feel like that is also a bridge that needs to be gapped, or rather a gap that needs to be bridged in terms of how you can reach out and how you can extend a lending hand, especially in the albinism community. So tell me about the distribution of the soap and the lotions that you do.
Okay, so we give out lotions, sunscreens. So the sunscreens are to help persons with albinism.
And which one is it? SPF? Is it 40, 90?
It's 40 and 45.
40 and 45.
Yes, there's also 55.
Yes, there's also 55.
For the older ones. Yes. So we give out sunscreens and spectacles. Why? Because we've seen that in most rural areas, these things are not reached.
No.
And the most needed are those who live in the rural areas, and we're trying by all means to reach them and give them sunscreens. Why? Because the sun goes direct to the skin, and most of persons with albinism are suffering from cancer because they're easily exposed to the sun, because they have little knowledge on how to be clothed, on how to walk around, or what protective clothes you can wear. So they lack that, not because they're ignorant. Some of them it's because they don't have money. We look at those in rural areas, and we look at single parents. So we try by all means to help them with that. So we really thank the Ministry of Health that are supplying the sunscreens for us. Like in most countries, we don't have the government coming in and helping with the lotions, but our government is at least helping with something, and that's really appreciative. I mean, so it's really helpful to these people, not only organizations, but to persons with albinism. And what we've noticed is that as we keep giving the sunscreens, now we've noticed that Zambia has a lot of persons with albinism. People would say, we don't have persons with albinism. No, we do have a lot. As we continue to give the sunscreens, we've noticed that a lot come out and say, and you see they come out and they come to you to get the sunscreens
more.
Exactly. So the sunscreens are really helping a lot, because we have a lot of mothers who've come through and say, my daughter's skin has really changed, which is really helpful.
And you see what also needs to be understood is, once we as a people generally, regardless of the shade of our skin, once we as a people begin to realize that sunscreen it's a common commodity, like any lotion, it's a common commodity that we can all just use. You find that because of that, it becomes a lot more accessible, a lot more it's not like a special product for a special person. Do you know what I mean? It's in the shops and it's available for anyone, and I think it's something that we need to really get into. And I mean, you definitely have a lot of plans. You definitely have a lot of things that you see the organization doing and extending to. And we, first of all, as the Untold Stories of Africa, congratulate you for just stepping out. That's the first one. You literally you said, look, I want to do this and I'm going to do it. And that's incredible. And I want to commend you for being able to do that, because that's something that a lot of young people don't often, just do. So I'm honored to be sitting here, and Lewis, at least now mfako bwino na mwa feature ko pa non. Mulifia bwino?
Awe nendife bwino kateshe.
Awe tulifia bwino. Mwachisa mkubatanda ila batapen. No, so you see, it's incredible to just go out and what exactly do you foresee in the near future? What can we be looking forward to? What can we be excited about for the organization? And just before you answer that, also, we've talked about albinism, but we haven't really touched on vitiligo, and that's also something not as common as albinism though. But there are individuals. So just break it down for me, a layman who doesn't know very well. Break it down for me what vitiligo is.
Okay, so vitiligo is a condition where a person starts to develop patches on the skin, just like albinism. So it's just our normal skin, but you start to develop different patches on your skin that will later on grow and sometimes disappear. So this condition is not contagious at all. Some people would inbox us and say, is it contagious? How can you get rid of it? The thing is, we've tried to research, we've tried to get answers from the doctors. You cannot cure vitiligo unless it's just decides on its own to control itself. So it has some days, some times, some moments where it goes. You'd be shocked that you'd look at me if I have vitiligo. You find it on my neck. The next time you find it somewhere else.
Oh, it actually
moves.
It moves.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I
so
didn't know
sometimes
that.
after some years or after some months, it moves. You might find some patches on the face. Sometimes you'd find it somewhere else. It has moved or it sheds off the black skin comes back.
Yeah.
So it's not contagious at all.
Yeah.
People get really nervous. My daughter is now having something.
Some spots
Is
or
it
patches,
contagious? Is it going to end? In as much as you can try to use different products, I think it's so consuming. I think the best way you can do is leave it, because it controls itself. Even doctors have failed to find the solution. So the best they can tell you is to say, don't really expose yourself in the sun.
Yeah.
Don't.
So going back to the story of the sunscreen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's all about vitiligo.
And on average, how many individuals do we have? I don't know if I should say in Lusaka or in Zambia that or are at least registered under your organization as people that you're working with. How many is it on a scale of 1 to 10? I don't know if I could use that.
Okay, so I'll answer it on maybe nationwide.
Yes.
I'd say Zambia, we can say 10%. We don't have a lot of persons with vitiligo in Zambia.
Yes.
But we look at South Africa, we have a lot because of the weather too.
Yes,
the climate also adds up.
Yes.
Then we look at my organization, we have about 20 somewhere there, which is quite a lot, because these people are hard to find, then they're also hard to bring together.
Yes, of course.
Because it's money consuming,
Yes,
it's hard to bring them together. So I think the number is really good, because most of them are being hidden, and that's the really bridge that we're trying to break and trying to just breach, so that people can understand, hey, walk around, let the child be. You can't hide them. This is a condition that they were born with. So that's what we're trying to do.
And where do you see the organization in the next 10 years? What do we expect from you? I know that lately you've been busy, you've done a bit of some traveling, you get to meet new people, so connections are being made. And there's somebody that might be watching that is needing to reach out to you for whatever reason. How exactly do you feel your organization is growing? What direction do you feel it's taking?
Okay, so before I answer that, I want to add up something. So most of the times when I'm talking to people on phone, they'll think, oh, this person in the background has albinism, or this person has vitiligo. So the truth is, we don't have to go through the condition, or you don't have to have the condition. All you need to do is find a problem and solve it. You don't have to be affected for you to act on it. So I might not be affected, but I might not be infected, but I'm really affected by it, seeing what people go through and what means people are still believing in, still in 2019. And so looking forward, I would really want people of my color to come on board too. Let's break the borders, let's break the barriers. You can be black and still stand for albinism. You can be very old and still stand for child marriages. I mean, you don't have to be in that for you to advocate for it or to stand for it. And what I always say is, for me to start Zambian Albinism Matters organization, I didn't start it to be a voice. I don't want to be a voice. I want to create a platform for persons with albinism and vitiligo
to come and
speak for themselves. So I'm not trying to be a voice. I don't want to be a voice. Hey, there's
and that's why we have
I want them to speak for themselves just by creating the platform, already creating the awareness. I mean, I don't go through it. I don't have albinism. I don't have vitiligo, but I want to create a platform for these people to be accepted, to be included. So looking forward, where I'm seeing my organization, well, Zambian Albinism Matters organization is going to be big. I feel it and I know it. It's going to be big. Why? Because we are doing things that are reaching more to the communities, and we were partnering with different organizations, not only organizations that are dealing with special needs or different disabilities or special cases. So we are also dealing with organizations like Zambian Women with Skills, Zambian Cancer Society, organizations that can come on board and bring something to the table, and we are also putting something to the table by creating inclusion. So what we want is to partner with more people, bring different people on board, individuals. If you're seated there, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to get yourself involved in, please, Zamo is your place, and please come on board and help in any way that you can. And we want, apart from that, our vision is also to start up a nursery school. We've noticed that persons with albinism don't go to school till they reach grade 1. and you'd notice that they don't go through reception, preschool, which is really bad for a child.
Because that's the fundamental.
Exactly.
That's the basis.
Exactly. So in few more years to come, we want to start up a nursery school where children with albinism can be brought there. Not only them, we want them to learn how to read and play with different people, with their fellow people, because we've seen and we've heard stories where people will tell you, I only knew that albinism is a condition and a lot of people have it when I went out there and when I went to a similar school with people with albinism. And so we don't want that anymore. We want children to find themselves, in as much as they're going to be young, we want them to understand that condition even at a little age. So it's not going to be discriminative.
It helps with confidence as well. By the time they get older, they're getting into primary school, they're getting into secondary school. You have created an individual that is confident in who they are. They're well aware of the fact that they're different and they love it because they've embraced it. You know what I mean? And it's one thing to just walk with your head held high because, you know, look, I may look different, but I'm just like you, you know, and I think that's the most brilliant thing. Tapela, thank you so much.
Thank you so
we appreciate you creating the time, opening up your space, and allowing us to be here. We're honored, and congratulations once more for all your hard work. We will keep stalking you and watching out for more news and just seeing, because it's through the stories that people tell, it's through even the way you yourself communicate and the way you carry yourself that enabled us to say, oh, there's somebody we need to talk to. So congratulations.
Thank you so
much.
And
I think from myself and the entire crew, the whole Untold Stories crew, we are so grateful. And you know, on a larger scale, not only for giving us this time, but also for what you're doing, for the work that you're doing. Zambia definitely needs more people like yourself. Africa definitely needs to hear your story, and we hope that this is just the beginning of so many exciting things for you and for Zamo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and for having Zamo.
Thank you. Tapela Banda is just one of the incredible people, young people, that are making strides every single day to make a difference, changing lives one heart at a time. Zamo is an organization that we will definitely be looking out for because I think their work is extraordinary, and she has gone out of her way to make sure that you get to hear more about albinism and vitiligo. I am super honored to have shared this story with you, and extremely grateful that there's so many individuals and so many stories that we are left to tell. I will see you on the next episode of the Untold Stories of Africa. My name is Lamuvangalala. It was a pleasure, and I will be seeing you in episode 6. Stay watching.